Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast who absolutely loves bold expressions of color, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing a kind of glam version of the first plague in the 10 plagues, which is blood. And this is what I came up with. So if you guys want to see how I did this, then please keep on watching. So I'm just going to give a little bit of an intro about this project. Again, if you've seen this in my other videos, and just skip this part. Long story short, I noticed there was a bit of a gap in the sort of YouTube, social media makeup world. Okay, so a bit of background about me. I am an observant Jew, and I love makeup. Pretty much all you need to know about me. And what I noticed is you don't often see too many creative makeup looks that use Jewish kind of traditional religious like symbolism, I guess. So like, for example, during Christmas, you see tons and tons of Christmas themed makeup looks. You see like reindeer, you see candy canes, you see Santa, you see elves, like all of that stuff. Halloween, same thing. You see like pumpkins, you see like Day of the Dead stuff, you know, things like that, or even just lots and lots of costumes. For some reason, like I'm sure there are tons of Jewish makeup artists, but I don't see a lot of that stuff coming from them around the Jewish holidays. And certain holidays in particular, there's a lot that you can do creatively. So I thought I would step into that gap and do something fun. Not saying that there isn't that at all. Like I have seen a couple Jewish makeup artists or makeup enthusiasts do that, but it's very, very uncommon. Because I identified a niche area that hasn't been explored too much, I figured I would step up to the plate and try it out myself. I wanted to pay tribute, I guess, to honor the holiday of Passover, which is coming up this year at the end of March. And I thought, because I'm just too ambitious sometimes for my own good, I thought, why don't I create 10 different makeup looks, and each one will represent a different, will represent each of the 10 plagues. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the story of Passover, long story short, I've got like my notes here just so I like remember to say everything that I want to say. Okay, Jews were slaves in Egypt for, there's like somewhere between 200 and 400 years, a little unclear like exactly how long. And this was during the time of the pharaohs, so, you know, a long time ago. So Moses, or Moshe in Hebrew, who ended up becoming the Jewish leader at the end of the Passover story, pleaded with Pharaoh to let the Jews go free from slavery. Context, Moses had grown up with that Pharaoh. He had been adopted by the previous Pharaoh, i.e. like the father of the current Pharaoh at the time. He was raised as a member of the royal household until he learned of his Jewish parentage. Long story there. Watch The Prince of Egypt. Moses said, "Let my people go." Pharaoh refused. This happened numerous times. Every time that Pharaoh refused, God punished the Egyptians. Each of those times was a different plague against the Egyptian people. So the plagues are as follows. Blood, frogs. It's like very confusing for me to do this in English because normally I say them in Hebrew. So let's see if I can. Okay, so blood, frogs, lice, like wild animals, livestock disease, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and like slaying of the firstborn children. So in Hebrew, dam tzvardea kini marav dever shrin barad arbe choshech makat bechorot. So that's pretty much everything you need to know. And then just for each video, I'll kind of explain a little bit more in depth what each plague actually entailed. And essentially for the series, some of the plagues I took kind of more literally and did kind of like a literal depiction of what the plague was. Some of them I was a bit more creative, took a bit more artistic license, kind of depended on the nature of the plague and how easy it was to execute on my face. Couple disclaimers, I am not a professional makeup artist, as I mentioned. I am completely self-taught, and I'm just starting to get into special effects makeup, so literally this is like the first time that I'm trying a lot of these sort of techniques and products, so I apologize in advance if I don't do a good job, or, you know, if there are things that I could have done better, because I'm not professionally trained, so I don't know. If there's something that I could have done better, feel free to comment below, but like, please be nice. And one more thing, as with all of my videos, I list all of the products and tools that I use in the description box below. So if you have any questions about what I'm using, that's where to find them. If I miss something, feel free to comment and I will update it for you. And now I'm going to talk about the plague for this video specifically. So the plague for this video is blood. Specifically, during this plague, every source of water turned to blood. So, for example, the Egyptians got their water source from the Nile River, turned to blood. If you were, I don't know, if you had collected water before, you had it in like a little jug or something, turned to blood. Everything turned to blood for the Egyptians. And with that said, let's just get on to the rest of the video. We're doing plague number 1. This is the first video in the series. I'm very excited. I'm actually not filming these in order, so I've filmed most of them already, and I've just had so much fun with the series. This whole series minus maybe 1 or 2, I've been using the Ben Nye Master Cream Palette. It's got 12 colors in here, and I'm actually running low on my white. Also planned ahead, and I got the Ben Nye Clown White like cream makeup thing. It's like a giant tub of cream makeup. It just smells like makeup. Yeah, I'm gonna paint this on my face just because I want like a really thick layer, and then I'll do everything else after. I think I'll put my base on first. I don't know if I'm supposed to be putting down a primer for these. I haven't been, but I kind of feel like I should be. I think I'm just gonna have to scrape out some because it is so thick in here. Okay, I'm just gonna scrape out a little bit of it because this is gonna be impossible. Oh, this is so thick. Wow. I definitely don't love the texture as much on this one as I do with the white that comes in the palette. That one's just a little easier to work with. If I'm doing this totally wrong, feel free to comment below because I am completely self-taught. Literally, I just learned from makeup tutorials online and just kind of figuring it out on my own. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna add like a couple drops of my Marin mixing liquid just onto my palette. Okay, that was a few drops. Let's see if that helps at all. I don't know. Just gonna pick it up on my sponge, see if that'll help kind of blend this whole thing out a little better. Yeah, it's just removing it. Okay, well that didn't work so well. Just like it's so thick and almost dry that it doesn't really spread that easily. Yeah, if anyone has any tips on how to get the texture of something like this a lot smoother, feel free to comment below because I don't know how it looks on camera. In person, it looks very splotchy. I really don't like the texture. Okay, I'm gonna just touch it up a little bit with the white from the cream palette because I can't. It's not just that it's a little bit thinner, it's just more emollient. This clown white is not something that spreads easy. I also probably could have used a bigger brush. That's on me. Yeah, I'm not gonna set it with powder yet because I'm gonna do some other stuff. So I intentionally left my eyes blank because I have to do my eyebrows, and then I'm gonna do a look on my eyes with eyeshadow, and then everything around there I'm gonna go over in white cream paint. Before I do that, I was gonna do some blush, and I'm thinking I might just use the cream makeup from the cream palette to do that. So I'm gonna go into the pink and maybe mix a tiny bit of red. It's probably gonna be too much, but I'm hoping I can just kind of blend it out since this is such a blendable texture. Okay, yeah, that's very intense. See if I can get more red. There we go. Because I want like a hint of red. So let's see if I can kind of cover that up. Maybe I'll see if I can scoop up some clown white. See if I can use this to kind of tone down the intensity. Yeah, this stuff doesn't blend. It's just very clumpy. And I look very much like a clown right now. It's very sticky. I don't like this texture. Okay, I really want more of that red. Kind of like as contour almost. Okay, I'll see if maybe I can go over this in red because this is not working. Looking at this in a slightly like different angled mirror, just gonna fix this a little bit. I don't love this. I'm gonna be using a palette from the brand that shall not be named. I don't have that many red eyeshadows, like pure red eyeshadows, and I want to do a very red makeup look. Kind of just want to put red across my eyes, but before I do that, I should do my brows. I'm gonna start off with ABH Dip Brow as I always do, but I think I'm gonna darken my brows. I don't know, I'll see how it looks against the white face paint. I just want my brows to be kind of like not too thick, but pretty dark, just as a stark contrast. I'm actually going to go into my Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette and just use the black shade at the end. And I'll just kind of go over my brows lightly just to darken them a little bit. Really, I'm just going on the top and bottom because I want that shape really defined. And then with whatever's left, I'm just brushing in the front of my brows. Now I'm just going to go back into my white face paint and just outline my brows, fill in the gaps where there isn't any product. I'm gonna go into this palette. Again, I've said this before, I don't endorse this brand anymore. I've got a whole video if you want to hear my thoughts on the subject, but I'm just trying to use up what I have. But I'm really not endorsing this brand's products, and I would recommend that you use something similar. And because I want the color to be really bold and bright and intense, I'm going to use the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. So let's just put down like a good amount of primer, and I'm going to give that a second to dry because this is a very watery formula. A little bit into my crease area as well. Now I'm going to go into this bright red shade. I'm probably going to dip into the next one as well. This brighter red kind of has hard pan, so it's a little tricky. Oh, I think that might be okay. Just using a flat brush to really pack that on, and that primer is working really, really nicely. Okay, yeah, that is what this color is supposed to do. I often have issues with it. Okay, I really look like a clown right now. Holy. I'm gonna dip into this shade and the one next to it. I'm like destroying that pan, and I'm just gonna kind of lightly, oh, and I had eyeshadow from a different look on there. Okay. Okay, I just kind of want to add a bit more depth, which is why I'm adding two different colors. Now I'm just going into that one darker shade. It's a little tricky to do this with primer, but I find if I set the primer with powder, then it gets too dry looking. I'm gonna lightly just go over this area with a little bit of the white cream paint, trying to blend it on the cream shadow, and it doesn't seem to love that. I think that's probably the best I'm gonna get. This isn't my best blending work, being very aggressive about it as well. Okay, let's do the same on this side. Just gonna use whatever's left on this flat brush and just kind of run a little bit of shadow underneath my eyes. Just something to connect the top and bottom. some of that red, lighter red eyeshadow that I put down, and let's see if I can set this blush. I just really want to stress that this is red and not pink. I regret everything right now. Okay, this is starting to look maybe a little bit nicer. I think actually that pink down here blends it better, shockingly. I hate it, but on camera it seems to look better. That little bit of red powder that I have, just kind of concentrate it up here, see if I can blend it a little bit more. We're kind of going for like a geisha look now, which is definitely an improvement from a clown look. And I just want to fix the texture around my nose. Again, on camera it probably looks fine, but in person I'm just disappointed. Okay, let's leave it at that. I'm gonna add on these rhinestone things. I think the best way to do this is to just use my fingers. Just put them around my eyes. If I turn into Queen Amidala, I would not complain. And then take another couple, do the same thing on the other side. Let's do one kind of over here. I have to make sure they're not too close to my eyes because I still have to do the rest of my eye makeup. And then I'm gonna take some of these little ones and put them around my eyes, kind of like freckles almost. Let's see if that looks stupid or not. That looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll just leave it at that. Keep it a little simple. I'm just gonna quickly set under my eyes just a very light, very light dusting of the RCMA No Color powder, just directly under my eyes where it creases. I tend to have it worse on one side than the other. Gonna curl my lashes. All right, I always curl my lashes before doing eyeliner because I use liquid eyeliner and it smudges if you don't wait for it to finish drying. So I'm just gonna do a very thin line around my lashes just to really make them stand out. I'm gonna do maybe a little wing. Okay, it's not quite at the same angle, but I'm gonna leave it because you won't be able to see the difference. Okay, I'm just gonna use the Benefit Bad Gal Bang mascara. Really, I'm gonna just focus this on my lower lashes, and even then, I'm not gonna do too much. I'm gonna be using the Ardell 250 lashes. These are getting very old. As you can see from the title, this makeup look is themed around blood. This is the Plague of Blood. This look is gonna obviously be a bit more of like an artistic representation of that. And I'm just gonna do blood tears. So I've got the Ben Nye Stage Blood. I'm just gonna paint some lines of blood coming from my eyes. I'm just gonna use a very small brush and do this kind of slowly. I don't really want this to go further than here. So I'm gonna just quickly take some of my fake blood. We're just gonna, okay, that didn't really work. Hoping to just kind of stick this at the end to stop it, but that didn't seem to work. I'm just gonna wipe up the edges. Kind of want it to be a bit smaller. Kind of thicken this whole area. There we go. And hopefully this doesn't move. All right, and to repeat that on this side. I want to do blood either coming out of my nose or my mouth, but I worry that it'll be overkill. And now it's time to line my lips. So I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat lip liner in the shade Kiss and Tell. Okay, and then to fill my lips in, I'm going to use the Fenty Stunna lip paint in the shade Uncensored. I feel like it looks too glam, and it definitely looks, to me, too much like Queen Amidala. And I want it to look a little different. What if we add like a nosebleed or something? gonna keep things simple. I'm not gonna do too much, but I am gonna add some blood coming out of the corners of my mouth. I think that'll be fun. So I'm just gonna start with a thicker blood. It's just called thick blood. And just kind of dab that at the corners of my mouth. And it might look too symmetrical with the blood tears, but like I still really want to drive home that this is a bloody look. And I'm just kind of connecting it to the inside of my mouth to make it look like it's actually coming out from here. We'll make this side a little more dribbly and then the other side a bit more clotted. It's a little more interesting and looks less deliberate when it's asymmetrical. I'm not loving it, so I'm gonna just add a little bit more of this thick blood just around my right nostril. Okay, that is basically it. I'm just gonna throw on my wig and then I'll show you guys the final look. It's an entire section of my face is unpainted. I'm gonna also do that off screen. Okay, I am back and this is the final look. All right, so that is the look done. I can't really move my mouth very much because I've got this fake blood on the sides of my mouth and it's kind of impeding my movement. Considering I don't, like, honestly, this series is the first time that I've really worked with real special effects makeup and the extent of the range of looks that I'm doing is like the most that I've ever done. So all things considered, I think this looks okay. My favorite part is actually these red kind of like rhinestones on the side of my eyes. I think that's really fun. The tears I really had difficulty with. I almost think that it would be worth it next time to just do those like glue gun tears that were really big on Instagram a few years ago and then cover that with fake blood maybe, or add fake blood as the glue is drying. I think that might have been easier to work with, although these look more like they fell more like real tears, but they were just hard to control. I don't know if the nosebleed was really worth it, and I think next time I'd probably skip the mouth blood. I don't know if it really adds that much, and I feel like it looks more like vampire blood than, you know, blood. I was actually thinking for the little like B-roll video to have the fake blood in my mouth and cough it up, but I've got like all my makeup and stuff in my laptop right in front of me, so it would just make too much of a mess and I don't want it to get all over my stuff. My mic is directly in front of me, so I didn't want to make a mess. That is the conclusion of the first video in my series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please stick around for the remainder of the series. I'm going to be putting all of the videos in a playlist, so I'll link that up here and then you can watch all of them as they go up. But the best way to find out when the next video goes up is just to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications, and that way you'll get updated every time I post a new video. You'll get a little notification on your phone, and that's the best way to stay up to date because my upload schedule for the series is going to be very different than my normal schedule, so that's the best way to just know when the next video is up. If you like the type of looks that I do here on my channel, normally they're not quite as intense, but if you like kind of bold, playful, colorful makeup, I'm sure you'll love the looks that I do on my other social media accounts, which I'll just put up on screen over here, and I'll link them in the description box below. I would really appreciate it if you could follow me on those platforms. That would just really help grow my presence online, and, you know, just one day maybe I can be paid to do this because I finance everything myself. The odd time I get, you know, like gifts of makeup, but pretty much everything is financed by me. It's an expensive hobby, and it would be nice to be paid for it. And you're also supporting an artist, so, you know, there's always that. Anyways, that's everything that I have to say. Again, that is the end of the first video in this series. There will be 9 more following, so I hope you can stick around for those, and I'll see you guys next time.